last night. You had to wait a little while. You had several games that started earlier than Mississippi State's game started, but they finally got going. Mississippi State and Vanderbilt in Nashville. That is a place that traditionally is difficult to play, regardless of whether Vanderbilt is good or not. It's just a hard place to play. It's a unique environment. Mississippi State, I don't think, has had just a ton of success there. I think you referenced yesterday that's been a tough spot for them on the road at times. And, man, Mississippi State absolutely had it on cruise control, like just walking to their second win to start SEC play, up 23 in the second half. But then Vandy got hot. Mississippi State cooled off. It turned into a 5-point game. And then Mississippi State made huge plays in the final 4 minutes en route to a 12-point victory on the road. Really good win for the Bulldogs.
Normally when you say but then, like the but then is a complete change of what happened. But then State still won. It got close.
Then the big lead vanished, and it got tight, and it wasn't on cruise control anymore.
Yes, but when the plays to be made to win the game needed to be made, Mississippi State stepped up and made them. Claudell Harris on the offensive end, Keyshawn Murphy on the defensive end, and on a night where Josh Hubbard doesn't get double figures for the first time this season, on a night where Riley Kugel played out of his mind, and I don't mean that in a good way. He did not look comfortable out there on the court for whatever reason, didn't score. But R.J. Melendez steps up. Cam Matthews gets you double digits. Claudell Harris hits some big shots. Nwoko played well offensively. He just got into foul trouble. And State, yes, it got closer in the second half, but to win by 12 on the road on a night where the road teams weren't having their best night across the SEC, that's just a really good win for Mississippi State and puts them in position to have a great week if they can get a win on Saturday.
Isn't the most impressive thing about this team is the first 5 minutes of their games? I mean, like, you have these moments in all sports, right, where it takes a team a little bit to kind of settle into the game. That doesn't happen to Mississippi State.
I would, not often. I would submit that the most impressive thing State is the final 2 minutes of the half, the first half when they play, because 2 games in a row now they have extended leads late in the first half to go into the locker room with a great advantage.
So first 5 minutes, last 2 minutes. You know what that equals?
7 minutes.
Well, coaching.
Yeah,
preparedness.
You're right.
Yeah.
So it just another quality game for Mississippi State. And the thing I keep going back to with State, and I've said it a bunch of times, is even on a night where Hubbard's not going to play well, they just have enough guys who can get points that you can't. It's never going to be, well, if we shut down Hubbard, we're going to beat them. Because somebody else is going to step up. Last night it was Melendez. Cam Matthews hadn't been in double figures for a little while. But early in the first half especially, he was getting buckets, getting to the rim. And when he's 4 for 4 from the free throw line, I mean, you'll take that. State with, I think, 15 of 18 from the line. 2 of those misses were from Hubbard, of all people. You're the best free throw shooter on the team. So just a really good, well-played basketball game by Mississippi State.
Yeah, if I had said to you guys yesterday afternoon, hey, I've looked into the crystal ball, and Josh Hubbard is only going to score 9 tonight. Riley Kugel is only going to play 9 minutes and will be scoreless. And, oh, by the way, he's going to turn it over 3 times. Mm-hmm. And Keyshawn Murphy's only going to toss in 4 points. I'm afraid that the feeling that you would have had watching that ball game would not have been a great one, at least going into it.
You would have just, on those 3 guys, thought, man, State's really going to struggle in this one. They might win, but that's going to be a heck of a struggle. And instead, like I said, and that's been the case all year for State. Mm-hmm. Hubbard's been there every game until this one. But every game has got somebody 2 or 3 guys stepping up to get you into double figures and get you the win.
Vanderbilt was led by A.J. Hoggard. He had 18 points and was big in that comeback that they made in the game to climb back into the ball game. I thought there was one possession and 4.5 minutes left, give or take, where Hoggard tried to do too much. Mm-hmm. finally gave the ball up, got it right back, and immediately dribbled himself into trouble on the baseline, where he ended up basically with 3 Mississippi State jerseys around him, and Keyshawn Murphy just reached out and put his hands on the basketball and was like, "Give me that!"
Yeah.
And just took it away from him. I thought it was a huge sequence defensively there for Mississippi State.
That's the sequence right after the three-pointer by Claudell Harris, where they cut it to 5. State gets a 3-ball from Harris, who another 13 points, great, but another 7-rebound game for him. He's averaging 8 rebounds a game. I know it's only 2 SEC games, but from your 2 guard, that's really, really good for State. It's part of the reason they're having some success on the boards is they're getting it out of the backcourt with him and Melendez.
Only 3 made shots for him last night, but all 3 of them were threes.
All 3 of them were threes, yeah. And the biggest one of the game there when you pushed the lead back out to 8. That effectively ended the game.
Yeah, I forget who was on the call, but in that moment, the play-by-play guy straight up said that feels like that ends the game right there.
It took all the air out of them. They had pushed so hard to get back in. They're deep into the shot clock, and Harris just raises up and makes that shot.
And then Kevin Fitzgerald and Pat Bradley last night, is that right?
I know
Bradley
it was Pat
was
Bradley.
Yeah.
So
You can't mistake that.
You cannot mistake Pat Bradley. But then, on the other end, Keyshawn, the Vanderbilt player dribbles into a triple team, and Keyshawn Murphy just snatches the ball away from him, and they just go from there.
Good win. 2-0 in conference play.
Yeah.
14-1 overall. And now they come back home for a stretch that starts, not necessarily a home stretch, but a stretch of games against really good teams, or at least teams with really gaudy records.
Yeah.
And it starts with Kentucky at home on Saturday.